We are going to begin our study of figurative language, understanding meaning of words and phrases, and identifying the devices used. Figurative language devices. You probably know about figurative language, and hopefully you understand the different types of figurative language, but we are going to refer to them as figurative language devices. A device is a general term to describe a variety of forms of figurative language. Some examples of devices include simile, metaphor, personification, idiom, hyperbole, repetition, and onomatopoeia, which, as you know, is my favorite. Figurative language helps to add meaning. As you read and you come across figurative language, if you understand the purpose of the device, you can add meaning to any sentence, paragraph, or even a chapter of a book. Now I'm going to give you some examples of the devices used in sentences, and we'll talk about what each device means. So in a simile, the purpose of a simile is to make a comparison using like or as. Example, she was embarrassed and turned as red as a tomato. We are comparing this girl to a tomato. What it means is that her face became very red. She blushed. She was flushed. So it gives us a picture in our mind to show us what her face looked like and helps to add to our picture that we're painting in our head as we're reading. Metaphors are tricky. Some metaphors are directly stated and others you really have to be thinking about. I'm going to give you the basic example today, and we will talk about more complex metaphors in the future. What a metaphor does is it makes a direct comparison by stating that something is something else. Example, he is a slug when it's time for him to wake up in the morning. Obviously, we're not really talking about a slug, we are talking about a boy. But what does it mean when we say he is a slug? It means that he is very slow to wake up and get moving. Personification. This device gives something that's not human qualities that only a human can do or have. For example, the trees danced in the wind. Well, trees can't really dance, but humans can. The meaning is that the trees are moving around and looked like they were dancing in the wind, but since trees cannot dance and only humans can, that's personification. Idiom. This device is a commonly used phrase that's meaning does not match the picture made from the words. For example, the boy screamed his lungs out when his mom left him at daycare. The phrase screamed his lungs out is the idiom. And what it means is that the boy cried really, really hard. He could not actually scream so hard that his lungs fly out. Hyperbole. It is pronounced hyperbole, not hyperbole. Make sure you understand that so you don't look silly at some point in the future. This device makes an extreme exaggeration, so something that really couldn't happen. Here's the example. My parents will kill me when they see the hole in my brand new jacket. Every child has this thought in some point in their life. The hyperbole is, my parents will kill me. And, well, in fact, the parents will most likely be mad, possibly furious, when they see the hole. The parents will not kill the speaker. That's illegal. Repetition. This is when an author repeats a word or a phrase in a sentence, a stanza in a poem, or a paragraph, and this is known as repetition. Example, the ocean waves moved, the ocean waves crashed, the ocean waves retreated back away from the shore. The meaning? Well, the phrase ocean waves is repeated, and it's repeated to paint a picture and prove a point that the ocean is constantly moving and changing. The purpose of repetition is to prove a point and to paint a picture. Interestingly, if you reread this example, there are actually other figurative language devices. We're going to talk about onomatopoeia in just a moment, but the word crashed is onomatopoeia. It's a sound word. So in this example, you could say that there's repetition, but you could also say that there's onomatopoeia. Also, there's personification. Not what the ocean waves moved, because any object can move, but the ocean waves retreated. That means that it moved back, and really we think of that as something that a person can do, but not an inanimate, inhuman object. So there you go. 3 for the price of 1 in that sentence. Awesome! Finally, we're going to talk about onomatopoeia. This is my favorite figurative language device, only because I love the complexity of the word and the use of it is fantastic. And this is a word that makes a sound. When you're little, you think of pow, zoom, crash, the words that stand out by themselves, but when you get older, you have to understand that these words are used within sentences and are typically not standalone words with an exclamation point. The example in this sentence: she yanked the brush that was stuck in my hair, and I heard the hair rip out of my head. What is the onomatopoeia word? Rip. When onomatopoeia is used, it helps the reader actually hear what the narrator hears. So think about that. If you've ever had your hair ripped out of your head, you can hear rip as it's happening. I hope those examples in the review of figurative language will help you out. And now it's time to do a little bit of work with identifying the devices used in sentences and their meaning.